Hello and welcome to Idea TV Midday News. I am Chinatu Oji. We begin with the headlines. Federal government eyes cost reflective electricity tariff as power sector debt hits 5 trillion naira. Nigeria Customs Service and MMIA collaborate with EFCC and stakeholders to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. JAM bust 19 CBT center for fingerprint malpractice and 2 arraigned for impersonation. Nigerian Fencing Federation UNICEF partner to empower youth through sport and education. U.S. slashes Nigerian non-immigrant visas to 3 months single entry. In health, Swiss Medic approves Novartis malaria medicine for babies. In business, Dangote refinery slashes petrol price again and drops to 820 naira per litre. In sport, Ahmed Musa denies reports of distributing luxury vehicles to Kano Pillars players and officials. Now the news in full. The federal government of Nigeria is planning to implement a fully cost-reflective electricity tariff as part of ongoing reforms in the power sector. This move aims to curb the ballooning debt in the sector, which has reached 5 naira, including 4 trillion naira in unpaid subsidies to power generation companies. The Minister of Power, Debayo Delabu, stated that while targeted subsidies would be provided for the economically vulnerable, the broader goal is to ensure the sector becomes financially sustainable and attractive for investments. However, this proposed tariff adjustment has been met with criticism from electricity consumers and industry stakeholders. Many argue that increasing tariffs without a corresponding improvement in power supply and infrastructure is unjustifiable. Consumers complain of poor service, frequent blackouts, and inadequate fault repairs, especially in lower service bands, despite recent price hikes for higher bands. Experts warn that cost reflectivity alone will not solve the sector's challenges, as deeper issues such as market liquidity, policy inconsistency, and lack of infrastructure upgrades remain unresolved. Stakeholders have now urged the government to take a more comprehensive approach by addressing service delivery gaps and enforcing performance agreements with electricity distribution companies. They emphasize that simply raising tariffs could worsen public dissatisfaction, especially if it is not matched with measurable improvement in supply. The government has acknowledged these concerns and is working to boost power generation, stabilize the national grid, and expand renewable energy access as part of its broader energy transition and strategy. The Nigeria Customs Service NCS at Murtala Muhammad International Airport MMIA held a stakeholder engagement forum themed Anti-Money Laundering and Counter-Financing Terrorism Procedures. The event took place at the Federal Airport Authority of Nigeria conference room yesterday and brought together key agencies such as Economic and Financial Crimes Commission EFCC, the National Financial Intelligence Unit, and representatives of the traveling public. Customs Area Controller Effiong Harrison highlighted the importance of proper declaration of foreign currencies, negotiable instruments, and precious stones or metals at the NCS Anti-Money Laundering Unit's designated desk. He reported significant progress since earlier sensitization effort this year, including intercepting undeclared or falsely declared currencies. Suspects have been handed over to the EFCC for further investigation and prosecution. EFCC Assistant Commander Ibinabo Amatri clarified the legal implications, emphasizing that non-declaration offences is a strict liability under the Money Laundering Act. The forum aims to reinforce national security at Nigeria's premier airport and ensure the country meets international standards in anti-money laundering and counter-terrorism financing measures. Moving on, the Joint Admissions and Matriculation Board JAM has exposed 19 computer-based test CBT centers involved in fingerprint pairing and other malpractices during the 2025 Unified Tertiary Matriculation Examination. According to data presented by JAM Registrar Prof. Ishaq Oloyede during the 2025 policy meeting held in Abuja yesterday, Anambra and Imo State topped the list with 6 and 4 centers busted respectively. Other affected states include Abia, Edo, Kano, Ebonyi, Delta, Kaduna, Rivers, and Enugu. Professor Oloyede also highlighted bizarre malpractice methods, including the use of albinos for image sending and remote uploads by impersonators. Meanwhile, in Katsina State, two individuals, Bolanwum Emmanuel and Ibrahim Abdulaziz, have been arraigned before the Federal High Court for impersonation and examination fraud. Prosecutors alleged that Abdulaziz was smuggled into the exam hall to sit for the UTME on behalf of Emmanuel, though both pleaded not guilty. The presiding judge, Justice Hussaini Dadan Garba, adjourned the case until July 18 for trial and witness presentation. The Nigerian Fencing Federation (NFF), with support from the International Fencing Federation (FIE), is in advanced discussions with UNICEF Nigeria to form a strategic partnership aimed at using fencing to promote youth empowerment, education, and social inclusion. This collaboration, introduced during the 23rd African Fencing Championships in Lagos, seeks to leverage sport as a tool for child development, peace building, and long-term social impact across Nigeria and potentially the wider African region. During a key meeting at UNICEF's Lagos office, high-ranking officials from FIE, the African Fencing Confederation, and the NFF presented their vision for a national movement rooted in grassroots fencing initiatives. NFF President Adeyinka Samuel emphasized the potential of fencing to create pathways for youth engagement and educational opportunities, while FIE Secretary General Gulnora Saidova highlighted the sport's broader role in fostering cultural and social development. UNICEF Nigeria welcomed the proposal, citing its alignment with their strategic priorities on youth development and peace building. The agency further expressed its willingness to support the implementation of fencing-based programs through its existing national youth platforms, signaling a potentially transformative collaboration in the use of sports for sustainable development. Away from Africa now, the United States Department of State has announced new restrictions on non-immigrant visa policies for Nigerian citizens. According to a press release from the U.S. Embassy in Abuja, effective immediately, most non-immigrant and non-diplomatic visas issued to Nigerians will now be valid for only 3 months and will be limited to single entry. However, visas issued before July 8, 2025 will retain their existing validity and conditions. The U.S. government stated that this policy adjustment is part of its global visa reciprocity process designed to align with international security and immigration standards. Criteria influencing the decision include the issuance of secure travel documents, improved management of visa overstays, and enhanced information sharing on security and criminal records. The embassy emphasized that this update aimed to protect the integrity of U.S. immigration systems and are subject to ongoing review. Despite the changes, the U.S. reaffirmed its strong diplomatic relationship with Nigeria, commending ongoing efforts by Nigerian authorities to meet international best practices in immigration and security. Nigerian travelers are now advised to comply fully with visa terms and maintain accurate, up-to-date travel documents. The U.S. mission also expressed its commitment to deepening educational, cultural, and business ties with Nigeria, pledging continued cooperation with the government and people of Nigeria. We go on a quick break now. The news continues when we return.
Hello and welcome to Beyond the Game, right here on Idea Television. The show takes you beyond the pitch, the scores and stats to champion integrity, inclusivity and innovation in the world of sport, powered by cutting-edge technology and groundbreaking research. An educative, fun, and interesting show that keeps you glued to your TV screens. I am Zara Stiva, and I am thrilled to take you guys on a roller coaster ride in the world of sports and innovation. And of course, let's keep the conversation going. Follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea Television and stay connected with everything beyond the game.
Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is Idea TV Midday News. Now the rest of the stories. In health, the Swiss Agency for Therapeutic Products, Swissmedic, has approved Coartem artemether-lumefantrine baby, the world's first malaria treatment specifically developed for newborns and young infants. Known as Riamet baby in some regions, the medicine was created by Novartis in partnership with Medicines for Malaria Venture (MMV) under the PAM Africa Consortium. It is designed for babies weighing between 2 kg and less than 5 kg who previously had no approved treatment for malaria. This pediatric formulation addresses a critical healthcare gap and is tailored to meet the metabolic needs of the vulnerable age group. The drug is dissolvable in liquids like breast milk and has a cherry flavor, making it easier to administer. It is indicated for treating acute, uncomplicated Plasmodium falciparum infections or mixed infections involving P. falciparum. The Swissmedic approval based on data from the phase 2 and 3 of Colina trial paves the way for fast-track approvals in 8 African countries through the marketing authorization for global health products procedure. Novartis plans to distribute the drug on a not-for-profit basis in malaria endemic regions, forging its long-standing commitment to global malaria eradication. In business, the Dangote Petroleum Refinery has reduced the ex-depot price of petrol from 840 to 820 naira per litre, marking the second cut within a week. The refinery had earlier slashed the price from 880, resulting in a total drop of 60 naira or approximately 6.82%. Dangote's group spokesperson Anthony Chiejina confirmed the new price took effect yesterday, stating that the reduction was aimed at easing the financial burden on Nigerians. This move comes just weeks after fuel marketers and the Nigerian National Petroleum Company (NNPC) increased petrol prices in response to the spike in global crude oil prices triggered by tensions between Israel and Iran. At the peak of the hike, petrol was selling at 960 naira to 980 naira in parts of the far north and nearly 955 naira in some southern cities. However, with crude oil prices recently falling below $70 due to easing geopolitical tensions, fuel prices have also begun to decline across the country. As of yesterday, petrol pump prices in states like Lagos and Ogun had dropped, ranging between 875 naira and 890 naira per litre. Industry watchers expect a slight reduction in retail prices in the coming days. The Dangote Group's continued price adjustment signals a strategic effort to stabilize the local fuel markets and provide some relief to consumers grappling with inflation and high transportation costs. And now in sports, Super Eagles captain and newly appointed general manager of Kano Pillars Football Club, Ahmed Musa, has refuted viral social media claims that he gifted luxury Land Cruiser vehicles to players and officials of the club. In a statement posted on his official X account, Musa described the reports as false and misleading, urging the public and media to verify information from credible sources before sharing. He emphasized that spreading unverified news undermines the club's integrity. The rumors surfaced shortly after Musa's appointment on July 5, but were debunked after a fact-check revealed the images of the vehicles were linked to a different event entirely in Kebbi State, where Governor Nasiri Idris' donation of Toyota to state lawmakers in March 2024. Despite the misinformation, Musa remained focused, joining Kano Pillars players in training and pledging to restore the club's stature in Nigerian and African football during his first board meeting. Kano Pillar is one of Nigeria's most successful clubs, but recent years have seen a decline. And now to end the news, let's quickly take a recap of the major headlines. Federal government eyes cost-reflective electricity tariff as power sector debt hits 5 trillion naira. Nigeria Customs Service at MMIA collaborated with EFCC and stakeholders to combat money laundering and terrorism financing. JAM boss 19 CVT centers for fingerprint malpractice and 2 arraigned for impersonation. Nigerian Fencing Federation UNICEF partners to empower youth through sport and education. US slashes Nigerian non-immigrant visas to 3 months and single entry. In health, Swissmedic approves Novartis malaria medicine for babies, and in business, Dangote refinery slashes petrol price again and drops to 820 naira per litre. Finally, in sport, Ahmed Musa denies reports of distributing luxury vehicles to Kano Pillars players and officials. Do not forget to follow us across all our social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oji. Thank you for watching.